Well, I will go ahead and welcome everybody to our business meeting tonight. I want to first thank everybody for taking time out to be a part of these nightly meetings. It surely is greatly appreciated by me and the board, I hope, and I know it is. So thank you guys very much for taking the time to be a part of these resolution, part of these committees and the districts for bringing these resolutions forth. Because without you guys, we would not exist. And you guys show us the path and we try to follow it at the best we can. With that, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Harold for the welcoming.
Welcome, everyone. If you don't mind, let's do the pledge. You can all unmute if you want to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to do a short prayer if you don't mind. Our Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for this time of our general business meeting, that we can do a business meeting with what you want us to do. And Lord, be with each and every one that's on this teleconference call, that to bless each and every one, and so we can have the right decision for our state of Colorado, for our conservation district, and for our partners. And we just want to give you all the praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Harold. And Scott, with that, we will turn it over to you.
All right. I would like to, sorry, I need to figure out where I was in the agenda. With that, I would like to welcome Cindy Lair, or turn the microphone over to Cindy Lair, who is our partner with the CSCB. Cindy, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Scott. It is really an honor to be able to start out our evening as far as programming goes, to show a special video. And I just wanted to give a little background on it. The special part about what we do in conservation is the people. It is the partnership. It is who we are when we come together and put our differences aside to say it really means a lot for us all to put all we can into helping landowners and helping one another learn more about conservation. And over the years, I have heard a lot of people talk about this person and say, gosh, I wish there was something we could do to thank Bob Warner for all he's done for us in conservation. And I have heard that locally. I've heard it at the state level, and I've heard it at the national level, because Bob, as you know, is very active, whether it is helping his local conservation districts, helping CACD, helping the State Conservation Board, the Department of Agriculture, NRCS. I mean, he is there for everybody. He's there to help kids learn, whether it's school age kids or providing scholarships at Colorado State University. And I'm not even going to go on with the long list. And so I've heard this through the years of people saying, gosh, I wish there was a way we could acknowledge Bob's contributions through the years, because he is so silent about it. He's not outspoken and saying, look at me, look at me. And so I talked to Bob and said, hey, Bob, your partners would be very interested in getting a video about your legendary conservation contribution to Colorado and to the United States. And so he said that could be nice. And so we, as partners, I want to acknowledge CACB and NRCS and the Department of Agriculture and the State Conservation Board. We all went in together to put this out, and And again, this is through the Moxicran video or Moxicran Media. And I want to acknowledge the hard work that Christy Bode put together to create this for us. And it's really hot off the press. We did it this summer, and there were a lot of people that were part of this process of recording this nice film in appreciation. I'm going to stop there and ask for our folks to start the video so you can see it.
All right, I gotta close it because I gotta go to
I'm Bob Warner, a native of Colorado. Been here all my life, 85 years. Been living on this property most all of my life. I was born and raised farmhouse down the road. Went to school in a country school up the road a half-mile. Air Force Reserve, Continental Airlines, and the most important, my conservation activities on the farm, on the ranch. I attended CSU from 54, 59. Finally got the opportunity to go to an ROTC summer training camp at Fairchild Air Force Base up in Spokane, Washington. While I was there, I got a chance to take several aircraft flights, and I kind of got the bug for flying. And I thought that might be my opportunity to farm and fly. When I first started flying, one of the things that stuck out in the scenery below was the circular fields. Back then, some of our passengers didn't really know why those circles were down there. Since I was interested in those circles, I figured our passengers would be too, so I always didn't miss a chance to tell them about the circular irrigation systems and the wonderful pivot irrigation systems. Farming is my true love. Cattle, irrigation, my home state of Colorado. There's no place like it.
I see Bob having that heart to share his knowledge and to be a learner as well. I just appreciate Bob's willingness to take guys that come in kind of green, even after a career in resource management, and just to see his passion on his ranch here, to just continue to do that throughout his life. I'd like to think myself as just a continual learner, and that's what I see in Bob Warner, is that continual willingness to learn and to develop and to advocate for new things. It's been just a privilege to be involved with him.
I was fortunate. My father had a small cow-calf operation when I bought the farm, and I bought his cattle. So I was able to start out with a small herd. Then I heard of a small red Angus herd that were for sale. I asked Dad if he'd like to go with me to look at them. We went over and looked at them, and he liked them, and I liked them. And he said, well, if you think you might not be able to afford them, I'll go in partnership with you. Still continued my flying with Continental. I got a chance to serve in the reserves for another 25 years after my active duty. So that gave me a little more chance to set aside some money and buy additional property.
Bob has been a driving force in several conservation districts for almost 50 years. He has served Colorado very well in a leader of conservation practices on his farm. He's a community-minded individual. He's just an amazing man. Colorado can be proud of him because he served his country, came home, and he developed his property, and he's tried to preserve conservation, whether it's rangeland or cropland, for the future generations.
I guess I was at my folks' house for lunch one day. I got a call from Cecil King with the Platte Valley Conservation District. He said, would I be interested in serving on the Conservation District Board? I said, well, yes. It would help me become more knowledgeable about conservation practices. Eventually, I got the opportunity to serve as the Upper South Platte Watershed Director, serving on the CACD board. By going to and participating in national activities, I eventually got the opportunity to serve as our national director. Then with the National Conservation Foundation, it became more active, and I was asked to serve as a trustee on that board also.
Bob Warner, he mentored me, and he was truly my mentor to the national level. He's been a huge contributor at every level to the conservation movement in this country. We attended national meetings together. We represented Colorado at the national level. I just can't state it strongly enough how well respected Bob Warner is on a national scale, and everybody from Colorado benefits from that.
Since I was born on the property, I know the property quite well. We've been trying to do conservation practices, concrete ditches, underground pipelines, divider fences for our cattle. It was all with NRCS. The circular fields, that's one of the things that's cut down our water loss from runoff. The pivot systems has cut down on erosion a great deal. And that can be a direct result of our conservation programs through the NRCS and their cost-sharing programs. So most of that water stays on the land. They have contributed greatly because oftentimes you really question yourself whether you can afford to do something if you had to pay for everything. But if the NRCS is cost-sharing, then you feel like I can afford it and it is worthwhile. And not only their monetary contributions, but their technical assistance, that sort of thing. A lot of these things, I wouldn't have known how to do it without NRCS to work with me. The windbreaks have really been good for the cattle and also to cut down some of the wind erosion. They've been very helpful, and they've been also a cost-sharing program. I've been able to include that into my EQIP programs and so forth to get some cost-sharing from the tree planting and the drip systems and irrigating the trees and so forth. We like our trees. And the Colorado Department of Ag has done a lot for us too, and helped Colorado Association of Conservation Districts and manage and monitor us and help us with our funding. We couldn't work without our partners, our wonderful partners.
Bob has taught me patience. He knows what he wants, and he's not afraid to speak up for it, but he is always patient and kind. It's wonderful to see somebody be so passionate about their land and conservation. He has taught me so much about understanding what farmers and ranchers go through, the decisions they've had to make, the challenges they have on their farm. I have become a lot more understanding and happy to meet the producers where they are and listen to what their needs are to figure out how I can help them. That's been very beneficial working with Bob.
I have recently enrolled with NRCS in an ag conservation easement program, and all of my farm is being enrolled. That will guarantee this property will always stay in agriculture. It will not be sold for housing, for development, for any sort of industrialization. That's probably one of the best feelings that a landowner could have in knowing that his farm, his ranch is being cared for. The youth are our future. We can't carry on without a good youth group. I have a small scholarship up at CSU that I support, and have had the opportunity to work with various groups.
Bob's done a lot of work over the years in conservation. Bob's also mentored 2 or 3 other employees over the years, young folks that come into the agency that don't have a background in agriculture, and he'll bring them out and talk to them about livestock production, crop production, and hay production, and help them have a better understanding of what farmers and ranchers go through when they have to make day-to-day decisions. A person like Bob has lived a life of service. It's been a real honor and a privilege.
I'm real happy with the future of the property. I like to be here where I can see the ranch, see the cattle, see the farm, see the irrigation systems, see what I've been working for all my life.
All right. All I can say is thank you so much, Bob, for all that you've put into your land and to all of us in this conservation partnership. it's been an honor working with you, and I look forward to many more years of working with you. And I think I speak for all of us in the video and those that weren't even able to be in the video that would have liked to have said a few words. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Cindy. We have Karen from the Longmont office that's filling in for Cindy Einspar while she's temporary duty. And I guess 4 other members of their staff from the Brighton field office here tonight. So anyway, it's nice to get a chance to preview this. Thank you.
We will turn it back to you, Scott.
All right. Thank you, Cindy, very much. And thank you, Bob, for everything that you've done for CACD and NACD as well. I would go ahead and like to call this meeting to order. I first want to say a big thanks, Cindy, to you and your staff for helping us with the taking notes and et cetera, et cetera. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, Bobby, do you want to do, or Harold or Bobby, who's doing roll?
I think Bobby is.
Bobby is, okay, Bobby, go ahead.
Noah.
Or Noah, sorry, Noah is.
Noah.
Noah is.
Roll for us.
Good evening. I would be happy to. For the districts who have more than one supervisor present this evening, please identify as I call you who is going to be your voting representative for the evening so we can call on that person as we go through the subsequent votes. And I apologize in advance for any spelling mistakes as I go quickly. I will make sure I get your names corrected on our final version here. Do we have someone representing Baca County? And if you are on the phone, you can unmute yourself by pressing *6. If I miss you, I will loop back through and give an opportunity for anybody to
just have.
Anybody from Bent Conservation District. Bent Conservation District or Big Thompson. Woodcliff. Boulder Valley, we had Mike scheduled to carry a proxy on their behalf. Mike, are you on?
Yes, I am.
All righty. Branson Trinchera?
Yes, it's the Herald.
All right. And for Centennial, we had Aaron Powell scheduled to carry a proxy. Aaron, are you on?
No, this is Grant Edwards. I'll be doing the proxy voting for Centennial.
All righty. Center Conservation District.
Danny Neufeld.
Cheyenne Conservation District. Colorado First.
This is Nick Terchalis, but Wayne Counts will be doing the voting.
For Colorado First.
Colorado First, yeah. Wayne Counts.
Wayne Counts, thank you.
We'll call him William too. It doesn't matter. He'll probably answer.
All righty. Cope.
This is Jim Cecil. I'll be representing Cope.
All righty, Jim. Debec Plateau Valley. Deer Trail.
Lindsay.
For Delta, we had Mike Cleary scheduled to represent. Mike, are you on?
Yes, I am.
All righty. And for Double L?
Valerie Meyer.
Douglas County. Douglas Creek.
Rosalie Coombs.
Dove Creek. Oh, I'm sorry, I just did that. Eagle County.
Scott Jones.
Oh, that makes sense. East Adams.
Scott Jones.
That's Scott Jones.
What's that? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at names on the other side as well. East Adams. And do we have Ed on for East Otero carrying a proxy? Okay. Take Ed off for now unless I hear otherwise. Fremont,
Tom Lenza.
Haxton,
Grant Edwards,
High Desert, Jefferson, Kiowa,
Charlie Carnahan.
Lake County, Longmont,
Mike Rademacher.
Mancos, Mount Sopris, Olney Boone, Pine River, Rio Grande,
Tyler Neely.
San Juan, Chavano, South Pueblo County, South Side, Southeast Weld,
Yes, Bob Horner.
alrighty, Bob. Spanish Peaks, Upper Huerfano, West Adams, West Arapahoe, West Greeley, and Harold, you're still carrying the proxy for West Otero Tempest,
Yes.
White River, Yuma County,
Margaret Lenz. If Chester joins us, I'll give him the, but I don't see him on.
alrighty.
And
Um,
Noah,
yes, sir.
I see Ed Heise is trying to get on,
Yeah, I did see him on there, so I'll copy him over.
and he's also with Only Boone.
Thank you, sir. All right, Scott and Bobby, that puts us, it looks like, too short of a quorum. Got a little bit of noise there. I'm not sure if that was someone.
I think it's coming from Ed.
Okay.
He can just tap in the chat if he needs to. If that helps.
All righty. So Scott, it looks like you may be too short of a quorum.
Too short. There's nobody from White River? No. Okay.
Bill Lake was supposed to be on for White River.
Well, dun, dun, dun. I guess what we could try to do is, what time is it? 6:25. There could have been I guess we could go on to the financials, or we can keep going, and maybe some people, they might have got messed up and thinking that it starts at 6:30. So I guess we'll see if any new people call in or join. We can, I just won't call for a vote, but I think we can go through the financials. And then we'll see what happens from there. So I'll hold off on approval of the minutes and maybe just go down to financial, Bobby. Is that all right?
Yes, let me shout out here on our original count. We had, for White River, we had registered for Mark, Chris, or Bill Lake. I can't see your screen, Noah. Do we have Mark for South Pueblo County?
Sorry about that, Bobby. We have not had anybody check in for South Pueblo County. Just a reminder again, it looks like the two people on our phone are not voting supervisors, but if you are on the phone, you can press *6 to unmute yourself.
Bill Lake is on. Okay.
Scott?
We had one on the chat. Bill Lake is on for White River.
So we're missing Mark from South Pueblo County, Ken from Chavano, Fred Brooks from Mancus.
Okay.
Scott, there keeps popping up a number at 660 cell phone number. And I don't know if they're trying to get on or what.
And we had,
The 660-3667 on the phone. Are they trying to talk?
It's *67.
This is Valerie Meyer with Double L. I'm the 660-3667 for Double L.
Okay. We just
Okay.
did.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Valerie.
and then we had Sharon Krogan for East Adams, Sean Bruckman for Eagle County. But you've got that covered, Scott.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, it's what time is it? It's well, it's almost 6:30. So maybe we could, so we're one short because Bill's on. So now we're just one short. So somebody might be able to join on while we go through the financials.
Scott, I am counting here, and I'm not sure why Excel is not doing that, but thank you, Nikki. I think we may have 23 here. Let me recount real quick.
Okay. Okay. Rosalie is on the phone. Okay.
No, I'm on the computer. My name is
Oh,
Rosalie.
okay.
Oh, Bob, chime in and let them know you think about the last proxy.
This is Bob Warner. I have called West Adams and they're going to send a proxy to me if you need it.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and try to make that, get it on the website and fill out the paperwork for that proxy if you need it.
And just a reminder for anyone who needs to unmute, it's *6.
Oh, *6. I said the wrong thing. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, we had 25 confirmed for tonight.
They have, but.
Bob said he has a proxy for West Greeley.
West Adams.
West Adams, sorry.
We did just have another caller join. It looks like phone number of 970-220-2786. If you can hit *6 and let us know who you are.
Scott, I just received a phone call. I'm going to return it real quick, see if somebody's having issues.
Not a problem. What was the count you had, Noah?
I show 22 right now. Nikki's checking my math in the background.
Okay. Did you get that one that Bob has the proxy for?
That is
West
not including
Adams.
the proxy.
Yeah. You can Bob Warner, proxy Bob Warner.
Then you are at quorum.
All right. Cool. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Scott.
Saving us again.
All right, bye. Scott,
Yes, ma'am.
Joe should be a proxy for East Adams, Joe Lindsay.
Okay. So do you have that, Noah? So we're good with Bob's proxy, but we will put Joe Lindsay under East Adams
Because they're
Yes.
or proxy. Did you get that, Noah?
I did. That's been entered now.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll use this same sheet for any votes that come up on approvals of anything. If we need to do a voice vote, we can go through and it'll tally as we go. We'll follow the same order.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. With that, okay, so I will just stick to the agenda then. Could you please pull up minutes of the last meeting?
What would you like me to do that, or do you want to pull them up? Or do you want to give me a
Bobby
screen
can.
share?
Bobby, if you would like to screen share and you have them ready at hand, I will turn that on for you right now.
Thank you, sir.
And you should be good to go, Bobby.
Okay, hold on just a sec. Can everyone see that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Scott, you tell me when to scroll down.
Okay. You can go ahead and scroll down. Okay. 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 Okay.
Did I go too far?
Nope. Okay. 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 Okay.
Scott, this is Tyler. The only thing
Mhm.
I've seen so far is up on the first page, the report was put down as 940 instead of, I think it should be a 990,
Okay.
just a typo.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Okay.
You
that
said,
it?
you said, Tyler, it was on page 1.
I think it was on 1 or maybe 2.
There we
Yeah,
go.
right there, right there.
And then I see 12 in the chat. Do we have anybody shouting out corrections in chat?
Oh, it's on the next page too, as well.
Okay,
The
got
public
it.
report 940.
Got
Yep.
it.
And then in the next sentence as well.
Whenever somebody would like to make a motion, please feel free.
We're clear in chat.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve. Charlie Carnahan.
Thank you, Charlie. It's been a motion to approve. Is there a second?
This is Tyler. I'll second that.
Whoa. Okay. Thank you, Tyler, for the second. Is there any discussion?
Hello?
Hearing none. Any opposed, say nay.
Mute right now.
Is that a nay or no?
He was saying mute.
Oh, mute. All right, thank you very much. Motion passes. All right, Bobby, we will now move on to financials.
Okay, let me change my screen here real quick. Can everyone see this management report?
Not yet. It's still the minutes.
All right. You have an amateur here. Hold on. How about now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would like to do this evening is just give everyone a moment to glance through the management report, which gives our statement of activity or equal to a profit and loss, and our balance sheet for 2020. And then I will flip over to an actuals versus budget comparison and go into the detail of what you're seeing in this report. But I just wanted everyone to get a chance to see it. I also sent these out, and if anyone did not get them, I'm happy to share them. Just send me an email. And the same thing with the public 990 report. That's quite a few pages, so I'm not going to go through that tonight, but I'm happy to share that upon request as well. So I'm just going to let you glance at this official report, and then I'm going to show you the same thing with comments. And keep in mind that this report includes all of the programs that we do with NRCS, and it includes the Upper Ark Restoration Project that we do, the grant that we administer. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. Statement of financial position for a nonprofit is the same thing as the balance sheet. Our accounts receivables are always high at the end of at this time of the year because of our NRCS programs and getting our refund or our reimbursable reports processed. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing on that, and then I'm going to go into the breakdown on it. Can everyone see this okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so this is basically the same thing that you looked at for the profit and loss. Our administrative income would be down because of, or would be up because of the way when we migrated, the way we're changing how we report. Breaking down more of what we do with NRCS and our cooperative agreements and the Upper Ark contract. So I am in the middle of getting this to where it's easier for me to process my reports with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and with NRCS in conjunction with how we do it in QuickBooks. So the NRCS contract, it allowed us to put that, it allowed me to break it down in the budget when I added this account, but it is still hitting grant income right here. And that's something that we are working on with QuickBooks Online. So you'll see that change for next year as we get this customized the way we want it. A lot of this is repetitive, as you know, with another year of maneuvering through the COVID situation. A lot of the money that we budgeted for our programs has not been released. So, and this is for all programs. So this includes the Camp Rocky, Envirothon, the annual meeting, all of the education workshops, speakership programs, everything that we do, all of our traveling for NACD, anything that we do. So when you see these numbers and they seem high, just keep in mind that that is a tally of all of those programs put together. And that would include also the National Western Stock Show. You can see we're down on a lot of income due to that. And if anybody has any questions as I'm going along, feel free to stop me. Sponsorship income here again, way down because of all the programs. In 2020, just remind everybody, we had to cancel Envirothon Camp Rocky and cancel meeting in person on the annual meeting. And the annual meeting convention that we put together every year is quite expensive, as everybody knows. So that's a good chunk as well. And all of those are a part of our NRCS agreement. That would be why registration was down. Awards and gifts would be for all the programs, the youth programs, and the annual meeting. Same thing for contract labor for all the programs. Same thing for donations. We did have an uptick in our upper arc activity for 2020. So that ended up being a little bit higher than we thought. And I'll go over more about that when we look at the 2022 budget. Meals are always a huge expense for us. That includes all of the youth programs, the annual meeting, any traveling that we do, any face-to-face, that type of thing. Same thing with meeting expenses. This balance in wages, conversion to QuickBooks Online issue. So you're just not quite seeing it in the exact same, or in the spot that it's supposed to be in. You'll see that down here in just a little bit. And again, printing, publication, program supplies, all of those things that tie into all these programs threw off our budget. And then here you'll see wages and payroll down here again. So that's something that we're working on. And then this, these were just registration and sponsorship refunds due to cancellations. So our original budget that was approved for 2020 was $4,795. Our net revenue ended up being $16,041.83. Does anyone have any questions on this? Now I'll go in and I'll just give you an overview on budget versus actual for 2021 through quarter 3. Can everybody see my screen okay? Is that a yes? Scott, can you see the new form?
Yes.
Okay, I thought maybe everybody left me. Okay, so this is budget versus actuals through quarter 3 for 2021. Here again, same issue. Meeting programs canceled. Same issue with NRCS here. So it's showing down here in grant income. I'm just gonna scroll through here real quick because I don't think there's really anything that I haven't already explained that's not affecting us for 2021. And of course, this does not include quarter 4, so this is going to change. The thing I did want to point out to all of you, we have about 40,000 left in the upper arc grant, which falls under grant appropriations. That should be expended by the end of the year is what I'm being told, which means going into 2022, we will be done with that grant. Unless for some reason they are not able to finish within the next month and a half. So and another thing that I'm still working on when we migrated over from desktop to online, when we were on desktop, we split up all of our programs by class. So we have the accounting as the accounts as you see it now, but then we could click on class for any individual program and tell you exactly what the expenses were for each program. The last piece that we're working on is with QuickBooks Online. With QuickBooks Desktop, we were not limited to how many classes we could have, so I could put in as many programs as we have. With QuickBooks Online, and I'm speaking with payroll. So with QuickBooks Online, it only allows for payroll to be assigned one class, which I've worked with them for 2 different ways to split up my time, because I have to report to my board how many hours I work on every single project and how many hours I work just on general office work or other things that don't fall under the program. But so we've tried a couple different things per QuickBooks, and neither one worked the way it needed to. I think I have found my own workaround, so I think what I'll do is just send this out, just an estimated at the end of the year to all the districts to see, so you can see those reports that you're used to seeing that are broken out, like for Camp Rocky and Envirothon and that type of thing. So I apologize, I cannot show that to you tonight. I would not be showing you correct numbers. So bringing us through quarter 3, for 2021, we budgeted $9,456.84, and through quarter 3, we're in the black, $14,516.69. Keep our fingers crossed we stay in the black for the rest of the year. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay, now I'm going to go over to the 2022 proposed budget. I'll explain it and then Scott will call for a motion on it. Hold on just a second. So this is the 2022 budget. I pretended that I was a cook and mixed a whole bunch of ingredients together here, trying to decide if we're going to have a normal year next year or not. So I took a little bit of 2019, 20, and 21 and mixed it together and tried to foresee the future as best as I could. Under administrative for the NRCS cooperative agreements, this would be a combination, as I think most of you know, we have our education outreach cooperative agreement that all of our programs fall under. But we will also be adding the projects demonstrations agreement. So until I can get QuickBooks the way I want it, as you're looking at this budget, you will see those two agreements combined. And that would be right here under grant income for NRCS. So we have not, we're at a standstill until NRCS is allowed to work with us on our new cooperative agreement. Our current one will expire May 25th. So these are very rough estimates until I can work with Randy and Clint on that. We always budget a little bit for miscellaneous funding contributions, and indirect funding seems to, we've been blessed with that to come to us a little bit each year. So that's what that is. Sponsorship income. I'm being optimistic that we're going to be a green light on everything. So you're going to see our numbers rise. And again, I on these huge numbers that you see, please keep in mind, this includes all programs. So that it includes the education outreach that we do with all the districts. When you guys apply for part of those grants, Camp Rocky, the Envirothon Conservator annual meeting, and any speakership for any of the meetings that any of you all have. I budgeted again 60,000 for district dues. We always invoice out right around 90,000. That's based on 75 districts at 1,200 each, and we've been pretty consistent to stay right around or right under 60,000. I believe in 2019 we were just slightly above it, so that's why you see the difference there. Registration income, again, all programs and annual meeting. Accounting, that includes what we get to pay the CPA. Awards and gifts, all programs. Contract labor, administrative, that's that would be when I receive any help when needed, not related to a program. So that would fall under general. Contract labor other is related to all the programs in the annual meeting. And here, grant appropriations and expenses. This would be trying to budget, trying to figure out what that would be for the two new NRCS agreements. And that's just our insurance and liability. Meals. I increased our budgeting for the annual meeting because we will be shopping a different venue and trying to go a little bit nicer in a nicer, safer area. and we know that we're going to have more expenses with that. So I bumped that up a bit. So again, this actually includes all programs, the annual meeting, and NACD. This does not include any money for food through the NRCS contract. This is what is paid out of CACD's pocket. Same thing with the meeting expenses, office supplies, printing and publications. I bumped all those up a little bit, just to planning on having everything go as planned this year and get back to normal, and do some more of our printing and publications for some other programs that we're having to step up on our game a little bit. Website services would include all the stuff that CSCB is teaching me how to do, and all these great little behind the scenes programs. It also includes our web hosting and the ability to have the PayPal and any IT service that I might need, that type of thing. Program expenses here is just a breakdown. I just kind of have that extra one. If we have an expense that really doesn't fit within the NRCS contract or whatever, I just have that extra spot there to throw some expenses in. So so we're projecting a net revenue of 4,873, and we're keeping that low because we just really don't know what 2022 is going to bring. We've always been pretty conservative on that. We've done pretty good over the last few years. Does anybody have any questions on this budget proposal? With that, Scott, if you would like to call for a motion to vote.
All right, thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it.
This is Harold Unwin.
Is there? Yep, Harold.
I'll move we approve the financial report.
All right, thank you, Harold. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Joe Lindsay.
All right, thank you, Joe. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. On to legislation policy update. Brett. Mr. Moore.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's great to be with you all as usual. We are starting to get ramped up for the 2022 legislative session. It kicks off January the 12th in about 54 days. So kind of the joint budget committee is beginning to meet to start to cobble together the budget for the 2022 session. So that's the 2022 and 2023 budget. The interim water committee, as those of you that participated in the water resource committee earlier this week heard, have put 3 bills forward. So we've kind of already got a couple bills that we're looking at working on. We've also got a sunset of our matching grant program. So we're going to be working with our partners at CDA and CSCB to make sure we find a correct solution to make sure that our funding line stays intact and that we can get that coming through. And really just starting to meet with legislators in earnest and starting to get a sense of where we're at coming up for the next year. We'll actually hear from a couple of our champions tomorrow night. Really excited about a couple of our legislators of the year, and then we're also paying an honor to Senator Jerry Sonnenberg, who's in his final year of 16, having done 8 years in the House, 8 years in the Senate, and so really excited to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award tomorrow evening. Should be a really great opportunity. At least we think he will. He's going to be jumping off a plane and hopping on our call, but we'll definitely hear from our couple legislators of the year, which our friends from the Valley will recognize. They both happen to be from the South Central part of the state, so we're very excited about that. Looking back just a little bit to this past year, to the past legislative session, again, a session that was impacted by COVID. If you'll recall, in 2020, they went until March the 30th and adjourned for a couple months, came back for a very short session, killed hundreds and hundreds of bills, and then gabbled out, and then had a special session again that was almost exclusively COVID focused. 2021, again, they came back in for a very short 3 or 4 day session, January 13th to January 17th, I believe it was, and gabbled back out for a month or two to allow folks the opportunity to get vaccinated and continue to get a hold on the COVID situation. And then we came back in middle of February and went through basically June with the governor's signing period ending in July. This past year, we supported 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of legislation. We took a neutral position on 2 and opposed 1 bill, and all of the bills we took a position on were signed by the governor, up to and including the one we opposed, which was Senate Bill 21087, Agricultural Workers' Rights. Regarding that bill, Bobby and I have continued to monitor the rulemaking process around that, and we continue to send out updates as those come. That process is getting closer to being finalized, and it's certainly not everything that the ag community would like to have, but it's certainly a far cry better than it was when we started. And we're continuing as an organization, CACD, to participate with the stakeholders in that group to seek continued legal representation on that matter, to make sure that the state's farmers are represented, and that we're able to continue to have the workforces to get your crops out of the field in a timely manner, whatever those crops or livestock may be. And we're partnering, of course, with Farm Bureau, the cattlemen, the fruit and vegetable growers, and a lot of the other producer groups. We're kind of a step back in that group, but we have offered to help there financially. So that's I think a great thing. We did work extensively on House Bill 1181, the Agricultural Soil Health Program, with the various stakeholders from that group, up to and including getting representatives from CSCB and CACD on the Soil Health Advisory Committee. So the organizations on this call are certainly very well represented there. We also participated in the House Bill 1242, Create Agricultural Drought and Climate Resilience Office bill, just making sure that private landowners were represented there. Those are 2 bills that we ended up taking neutral positions on because there were some elements that we couldn't get fully behind, but they were certainly, our concerns were noted, and improvements were made to those bills that reflected CACD's position based on the policy book and all the many discussions we've had with many of you on the call. So moving up to the bills that we supported, House Bill 1045, Invasive Pest Control Administration, House Bill 1226, More Robust Check Station Aquatic Nuisance Species, Senate Bill 205, the Annual Long Appropriations Bill, or the state budget for the year. Then Senate Bill 234, General Fund Transfer Agriculture and Drought Resiliency, Senate Bill 235, Stimulus Funding to the Department of Ag Efficiency Programs. And we were very Very pleased with those two bills. Actually had a great deal of federal stimulus involved, and at the end of the day, there's several $1 million for both soil health and drought resiliency that were slated over to the conservation districts, including in Senate Bill 234, $15,000 for each of the individual conservation districts, in addition to your regular budget. So just really want to give a big shout out to Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Hawkes Lewis from Boulder, Representative Cutter from Jefferson County, and Representative Holtorf from out on the Eastern Plains, who sponsored that bill, and frankly, Senator Kerry Donovan, who's the chair of the Senate Ag Committee, really worked with us to make sure that we could get that 15K per district with few strings attached for you to use for whatever you need it for, to make make ends meet in through these tough times. So I think all in all, a very ambitious agenda for CACD. We worked on a lot of stuff. We accomplished a lot. We were able to work very closely with a lot of partners, including a lot of people on this call. So really appreciate the opportunity, I guess, to have represented you for 10 years. I think that was my 10th or 9th or 10th session representing CACD. So really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for all you do. Thanks for answering the call when Bobby is frantically looking for people to testify or provide expertise on various issues, and just sure appreciate the opportunity. And I'm sure I've missed something here, so Bobby or Scott, remind me if there's anything else you want me to cover.
Brett, did you want to do anything with the resolutions?
Sure. So basically, I guess we discussed this a little bit in some of the individual policy committee meetings, but I will review it here just for everybody's benefit. So the CACD board, you're all volunteer board, one board member from each watershed, meets in a monthly board meeting. We've been doing those on the third Wednesday of each month the past year. And over the past year and a half, we've actually started meeting as a subcommittee of those 10 members as a legislative committee meeting. And just really, frankly, we spent much of 2020 doing the policy book review, cleaning up the policy books of the 2021 policy book that you have. I'm sure you're holding in your hot little hands right at the moment, and reviewing it. Was cleaned up a great deal in the 2020 year by the legislative committee. And then through that process, we kind of started looking back. We basically went back 5 years to 2017, pulled up all the resolutions and went through and started looking at, did we as an organization take a position on this item? Has this item been resolved? Where are we at on it? And so every month, on the second Wednesday of each month, the legislative committee has been meeting. We've been going back through and looking at, have these things been accomplished? Obviously, we have a dues resolution every year. Those don't take any action. Some stuff is, just naturally timed out, but we've got a kind of a running list of things that are still in progress and still need follow up on. And one of the things that we've really put a lot of emphasis on with the board's direction, with Scott's direction and the rest of the policy committee, is that we've really been trying to reach back out to the individual districts that ran the original resolution. So it's, again, I think I made the analogy that you can't just throw the grenade into the room and then slam the door and let us figure it out. We've started to ask the districts that ran the resolutions to help us provide feedback on what's still happening on the ground. What are your supervisors seeing? Is it still a problem? Is it, what's been done to rectify it? Making the appropriate communications to move that forward, and to just make sure that we're taking as seriously as possible. If we're going to spend the time to craft these resolutions and get them just right every annual meeting and place them in the policy book and follow that policy book, we need to be following up on these resolutions. So just a huge kudos to the legislative committee of CACD for their time and effort put into that. Yeah, I think that's kind of the progress where we're at. And frankly, if you have a resolution that you've run in the past that you have a question about, please reach out to me or Bobby or anybody on the CACD board, and we can go back and track that baby down, at least going back to 2017, and let you know kind of what the resolution was on it. And at the end of the day, it is still an all volunteer board. We do have limited financial and time resources, so we try to do the absolute maximum we can on every issue. Some things just can't, we can't make the globe spin backwards. There's just some things that we can't accomplish. But we've been doing everything we can to accomplish everything we can to achieve what the district's asked us to achieve on their behalf. So really excited about that process. And I think we've got a resolution we're going to be discussing this evening that will even continue to sharpen that pencil even more. So I think that's what I have.
All right, thank you, Brett. And I just want to take a big nod to you, or take my hat off to you, Brett. You are truly an important person to us down there at the legislatives in Denver every day, keeping the ear to the ground. So thank you. And I just can't praise you enough. So thank you.
My pleasure, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. With that, we will move on to updates from the 5 resource committees chairs. I will go ahead and go first because I'm the chair of water. This year in water, we had no resolutions, and Brett gave a quick presentation of what could be coming down the pipeline with water bills. So we will be monitoring that pretty closely to see if anything does change. Right now, it's more talk than it is anything. So, but we are monitoring that talk. So I am still the Kawa representative too. I do still sit on that. And I know they have a annual meeting coming up sometime in December, and I think it's in Loveland, if anybody would like to go. With that, I will, and I accepted to be the chair for the following year. With that, I will ask the chair of energy if they are on, or if not, somebody that was there or on the committee.
It's Gary Thresh. I am vice chair of that committee, and we had no resolutions this year, and the meeting went quickly.
Thank you, Gary. Education.
This is Harold.
And outreach. Yep.
Chairman of it. We didn't have any resolutions, and our chair and vice chair stayed the same. Myself as chair and Margaret Lenz as vice chair.
Okay, thank you. Small acreage urban interface.
I think that was also with ours, Scott, with
Oh, okay.
education.
Okay. Yep. Not a problem. Soil and land. Charlie? It's Charlie trying to talk.
Okay, now I got
There you
unmuted. Okay, Charlie Carnahan, Chairman of the Soil and Land, and we had 5 resolutions. The first one opposing federal, do you want me to read each one or?
No, but what you can do, we're gonna go through the one. You can say how many you went through or how many went through and how many didn't go through, or you can say each one, however you'd like to do it, Charlie.
Well, the first one was opposing federal government 30 by 30 America the Beautiful land grab. And we were in favor of that. The second one was opposition to federal government's 30/30 by America Beautiful land grab. Same thing, although it was a policy amendment, and we were in favor of that. And the third one was support generational transfer of family farms, and we're in support of that. Highway signage for conservation districts, we were not in support of that. And wolf restoration and management planning, new policy, we were in favor of.
Thank you, Charlie. District Association and Outlook. Nick, you want to do that, or Danny? Who, I don't know if Danny's even on. Nick, you want to do that?
I do not have my printed material on here with me right now. So can Bobby just read those off for me, Bobby? Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Give me just a sec. Hold on just a second.
Not a problem.
I can run out to my pickup and get them. I just
It's okay.
absent-mindedly left them out there.
Sorry, I didn't have those pulled up. Just give me just a sec.
Not a problem.
I should have them memorized, actually. So for District Outlook, they had a quorum, minutes were approved. There was district conservation technician, DCT program funding, new policy that did not pass. There was a DCT funding policy action item resolution that did not pass. There was the CACD resolution follow-up and communication process new policy that is being carried forward to tonight that the committee was in favor of. Actually, that one ended up on the consent calendar. There was a similar resolution, CACD accountability from White River that was pretty much similar to ours. So it did not pass. Ours passed. It has a little bit more, and I think the district is satisfied with what we've committed to on that. And so you'll hear a little bit more about that in a minute. And then the CACD district dues is being brought forth tonight. And I am looking to see. I do not see, do you remember, Nick, who your chair and vice chair?
Nick is vice chair and Nick is chair and Hans is vice chair. Almost got that wrong.
Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, thank you. With that, we will move on to the review of the consent calendar. Just to let everybody know what our consent calendar is that if the resolution came through perfect, nobody made any corrections or changes to it, it gets voted on, and nobody votes against it, it automatically gets put onto the consent calendar. We can, as a group, go through the consent calendar if we choose to do so, but it takes a 2/3 majority vote to go through the consent calendar. So I guess I will ask if we pull, or Harold, are you want to monitor? Sure, do you want to do this, or do you want me to?
Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, that's fine. I can do the consent calendar. I'll pass it over
Yeah.
for the resolutions to you. And I believe there's 24 districts, I think, Noah, are voting tonight.
Yes, Scott, there are now 24.
24. Okay, so 2/3 of 24 would be what, 18?
Yes.
Okay, so we would need 18 votes if we want to go through the consent calendar. So I'll, Bobby, do you want to go ahead and pull the
16.
consent calendar up? Or 16? Okay, 16. I was going high.
Yeah.
Mary,
Or Mary will be, thank you.
hi, Mary.
All right, here we have 2 resolutions on the consent calendar. The Wolf Restoration and Management Planning. Would you like me to read all this?
Do we have people? Yes, we do have people on the phone, please, if you don't mind.
Sure. CACD opposes the introduction and reintroduction of wolves into Colorado. However, Colorado Proposition 114, Gray Wolf Reintroduction Initiative, passed at the ballot box by less than 1% in 2020. Therefore, Colorado will have wolves introduced, and CACD will actively engage in the planning process with the following policies. CACD supports 1, a wolf restoration and management plan based on peer-reviewed science and on-the-ground experience of other states. 2, taking into consideration Colorado's population/landmass ratio compared to the other states where wolves have been introduced. 3, removal of wolves from CPW's threatened and endangered list upon release of wolves in Colorado. 4, the release and manage wolves only in Western Slope counties where the majority of citizens voted to introduce wolves. 5, managing wolves in specified game management units, GMU, or groups of GMUs depending on the size to ensure a pack of wolves would have ample area considering what it takes for a healthy wolf population, but also considers the impacts to all other multiple uses of the land. 6, a hard maximum number of wolves for the state, but also a hard maximum number by identified GMU so that a heavy population in one area does not decimate the wildlife, livestock, recreation, etc. within a given area. Example, state maximum population of 100 wolves with 3 GMUs, each with a maximum of 35 wolves. Once a maximum number is reached, wolves numbers would be managed through hunting licenses. 7, a plan that minimizes the impacts to outfitters, sportsmen, agriculture producers, and rural communities. 8, a robust monitoring program that includes collaring wolves. 9, a fair and rapid prediction verification process, including the use of photos and location as proof of probable and confirmed loss. 10, lethal take of wolves to protect people, pets, and livestock. 11, wolves being proactively and continuously managed to limit the impacts on livestock, big game, and other wildlife. 12, CPW work closely with livestock producer to determine fair compensation for predation and collateral damages. CACD opposes 1, the release of wolves in counties where the majority of citizens voted to oppose introducing wolves. This is from Douglas County or Douglas Creek and White River Conservation Districts.
That's fine. You can just go down to the next one.
The next one.
Yeah.
The second resolution on the consent calendar is CACD resolution follow-up and communications process. CACD will complete and update each year an action item appendix in the policy book, which will go back 5 years. Action items will sunset or be marked completed at the point. CACD will present updates as available. CACD will work directly with the submitting district until the resolution process has been completed. Lobbyist or legislative committee chair will provide a year-end resolution progress report based on this document in the current year policy book at each annual meeting. This was from CACD.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask for a vote because this is the consent calendar, so we can't have any discussions about it unless there's enough to go into having discussion about it. So I'm going to go ahead and just do basically what I'll say is any opposed, say nay. If people speak up and say nay, we will stop. And Noah will pull up the screen and we'll go to each watershed and vote and count and do it that way if somebody opposes. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, so any opposes, say nay. And you can also chat if you need. All right, motion passes. Thank you. With that, Harold, would you like to do the resolutions?
I can.
Okay. It doesn't matter to me either which way. I'm good either way.
Why don't you do these first two because they come from my district? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to.
Is Mary going to read them?
Yeah, I'll have Mary read them, and just to let everybody, it'll be just like the nights of the committees. After the reading of the resolution, that will be the motion. I will then ask for a second. If it is second, we will then open it up for discussion. And then follow Robert rules of order in there. If we can have a nice discussion about it and not get too far into the weeds any which way, we won't have to do a whole bunch of motions into it unless everybody wants me to do it that way. So I'll kind of play it by ear. If this gets a little where we need to change a lot, then I'll ask for motions to be changed. And if there is no second, then the resolution will die. So just keep that in mind. Okay, Mary, please go ahead.
All right. The first one is opposing the federal government 30 by 30 America the Beautiful land grab. The Colorado Association of Conservation Districts should encourage NACD and conservation districts in monitoring and engaging in opposing the proposed 30 by 30 America the Beautiful program In its current language, we would oppose including its objective and of permanently of preserving 30% of the United States of America's land and water and designating any more wilderness areas or restrictive policies on existing federal lands, along with national heritage areas and conservation easements, or any other program that is being designated in its natural state by 2030. It is the intent of CACD to ensure the protection of historic agriculture conservation practices and private land ownership. CACD should support and help conservation districts write letters to county commissioners to each county in Colorado and federal lawmakers within the conservation district's boundaries in opposing America the Beautiful program as it is currently written. And this is from the Branson, Trinchera, and Spanish Peaks Purgatory Conservation Districts as an action item.
Thank you, Mary.
This is Harold. I second this resolution.
Okay. Thank you, Harold. I will now open the floor for any discussion. You can raise your hands, you can chat, come off mute, however you need to. Just don't send pigeons. Don't have the time.
I see that Harold seconded it, but who made the motion there?
The motion was of the reading of the resolution.
Oh, thank you.
Not a problem.
Scott, can I just say the committee really went over this with a fine tooth comb and rewrote it, thanks to Sean and George and all of us, getting our intent across what we want to do. So I thought they did an outstanding job the other night.
Okay, thank you, Harold. All right, hearing no discussion, I will call for a vote. Like I'm gonna do it just the way I did the last one. If we need to pull up Noah's screen, we will do so. Any opposed, say nay. You can also chat in if you need to. All right, hearing none, motion passes. Our resolution passes. All right, thank you, Mary. On to the next one.
Second one is the opposition to federal government 30 by 30 America the Beautiful land grab and any additional and/or future land grab initiatives at the state and federal level. The Colorado Association of Conservation Districts opposes the objectives written in the America the Beautiful program and any future program introduced at any government level that designates any more wilderness and areas or restrictive policies on existing federal lands. This would include national heritage areas, conservation easements, or any other program that restricts effective local land and water management practices and stewardship. We support preservation of family ownership of private lands and water for current and future generations. This is from the Branson, Trinchera, and Spanish Peak Purgatory Conservation Districts and is a policy amendment.
This is Harold. I second this motion.
Thank you, Harold. It is now open for discussion.
Scott, this is George. You just might want to clarify that this is a policy resolution.
Yes, okay. The first one before was an action item. This is policy. This will go into the policy book.
For the state of Colorado.
For the state of Colorado, right.
This is Gary Thresh. Last night I brought up quite a bit of discussion, mostly on the action item that probably should have been in the policy statement, but basically was that the National Association of Conservation Districts is currently actively engaged with the administration. And number one, defining what conservation is, and also highlighting that locally led, incentive-based, on the ground conservation is what conservation districts have been about for the last, through NACD through the last 75 years. And NACD is our presence in Washington, DC. We don't have anybody else from Colorado Association of Conservation Districts that lobbies in the House. I've been going back representing us on a spring fly-in with our representatives from Colorado, and with this policy, it behooves me to approach them in the spring fly-in that we are concerned about, just not turning conservation into preservation, I guess is the biggest thing. So.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
And there is, it was also highlighted, I think Rachel Thieler, the Southwest Regional Representative for NACD, highlighted last night that the president of NACD and AgriPulse wrote an op-ed about our position on 3030. So that's, and I'm not a voting member of this tonight, so.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Okay, any other discussion? Hand raised on the phone. I believe it's *6 to unmute. 970-220-2786. You are
Bill
unmuted.
Lake, White River Conservation District. I called the vote.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Any opposed? Say nay. Motion passes. Resolution passed. Thank you. I'm good, Harold. I'll just keep going on to the next one.
Okay, go right ahead.
All right, the next resolution is support generational transfer of family farms. CACD and NACD will support a family's ability to pass ownership of family enterprises, farms, and ranches down to the next generation without additional taxation upon death. This is from the San Juan Conservation Districts, and it is a policy amendment.
I'll second it, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Charlie. It is now open for discussion.
God, I'm just going to make a comment. The only reason this one didn't go on consent, we added the NACD, is the only reason why it didn't go on consent.
Yep, and the reason we added the NACD is because we are going to, if it passes this, CACD thinks this would be a good resolution to take to NACD. All right. A couple more seconds. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Resolution passes. All right, on to the next one.
All right, the next one is CACD 2022 Annual District Dues. CACD Annual District Dues Review and Vote for 2022 Dues Structure. This is from the Colorado Association of Conservation Districts, and it is a policy amendment.
Is there a second?
It's Danny Neufeld. I'll second.
Thank you, Danny.
Is this where, this is Harold, is this where you setting it at 1,200?
Yeah. I thought that it needed to say 1,200.
That's what I was wondering. Does it need to say $1,200?
Yeah, probably. Annual fees, you vote. Dues. I guess after dues, you would pay or say dues 1,200, correct?
I can look up the past years and see what the exact language is.
Okay, thank you, Brett.
Sorry. Sorry, Scott, that's a my copy issue. And so I'm putting
What's
it in
that?
there right now. This is Nikki. That was my issue on copying. So I'm going to change it to what the resolution actually says. There we go.
Oh, okay, thank
Okay.
you. Okay, there you go.
There.
I
All
am so sorry.
Well, reread that.
Okay. I'll reread it.
Mary.
It's okay.
Not a problem, Nikki. Thank you.
Yep.
So the resolution actually says is therefore it be resolved that the Colorado Association of Conservation Districts 2022 annual district membership dues shall be $1,200. $1,200.00.
All right, thank you, Mary. Danny, would you like to second that one again?
Tom Menzel, second.
Or Hans? Okay, Hans. All right, Hans did. All right, second, cancel. Danny, all right, is now open for discussion.
Scott, we have a question. How many districts are dues paying members? Bobby just said 45 is the average
45.
number.
Yeah. And that's been about, since I've been president and on the board, that's been about dead on. You know, we some years ticks up a little bit, some years it ticks down.
And this is Gary Thresh again. I think that was the true when it was $900 dues. So hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
This is George. It should also be pointed out that some districts do send some dues money in, but not at the voting level of $1,200.
Correct.
Okay, did everybody see that Bobby typed 6 to 9 pay partial dues?
Yeah.
My question is how come the other 25 or so districts is not paying? Do we know why?
That's a good question, Harold. I'm sorry to laugh, but I mean that is something I've beaten my head up against the wall. There was one year we offered a scholarship to help the districts out, but I mean, I can speak of one district I know. They will never pay their CACD dues, and I truly don't know why that district won't pay their dues, and they got the money to do it. They choose not to. Have no idea why, and I've tried to figure it out, and I can't.
Well, this is Harold again. I know in my watershed, the Lower Arc, we have 2 districts that has not paid their dues, and one of them is not very rich, but the other one has money, but they just kind of went dysfunctional with CACD and the watershed. I can't get them to do anything with us, and so maybe.
And then we also have other districts that pay. I mean, it's the same way on the other foot, because we also have districts that pay their dues every year on a timeline. I mean,
Right.
Boom, here it is. And they never send any resolutions. They never vote at the annual meeting. They never, never they support us 100%, but they don't follow the process or, you know,
Right.
so it kind of goes either which way. It is that what I've found in my 4 years.
This is Bobby. I just want to mention on behalf of CACD that we support all 75 districts. We do not penalize anyone for not being a non-dues paying member with all of the other programs that we offer and the help that we provide or the representation. I work with non-paying dues members all the time. So basically it's the resolution process and the right to vote. So I don't feel that that's the issue. It shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah, this is Gary Thresh again. The National Association probably, I don't know the figures for sure, but I'll bet the percentage is about the same. And if you look at presidential elections, it's about 60% of the eligible voters vote. So I think it's built into our society for some reason that you have people that don't participate in the government.
Right. I mean, I know districts that have mill levies, they got a lot of money and they don't pay their dues to CACD at all. So
Annie, I have a comment on this. There are districts out there that are not interested in being a part of the association, and I guess that's their prerogative. And there are also districts that would like to pay their dues, but dues are not supposed to be paid with DA funds. But that happens sometimes anyway. But the thing of it is, this has always been a choice. You're not going to have 75 districts that are going to chime in and be a part of it. And I think our numbers are pretty much indicative of how it's been through the past years. So I don't know if there's been a big fall off. Kind of looks about the same to me throughout the history.
oh, something happened, Danny, you got muted. Not sure what happened there. There you go.
Danny, did you hear what, did I mess up on my computer?
I don't know what happened. You were talking in, well, now you're on mute. Now you're off mute. So you were talking and it put you on mute. So I'm not sure what happened.
I'm sorry about that. Well, let me just go ahead and summarize a little bit. Not all the 75 districts want to be a part of the association monetarily. I know that CACD supports all 75, but the numbers look pretty indicative of in the past. Maybe some years there's a little bit more, some years a couple less, but we also know that DA funds should not be used to pay association dues, though it probably has happened in the past, and there's no way to police that. But you also have districts that say, well, we can't afford that because this is all we got. And actually they don't have much else. So that's one of the reasons why that they're not supporting CACD monetarily.
Right. Right. But as a board, we want to support them.
Well, exactly. The board still supports them, but they're just caught in a situation that they can't rectify financially. But the CACD, I mean, CACD does everything they do for all the districts. It's not for anybody else. And I think that we can pound the bushes and talk to every district, but you're going to have districts that say, hey, we can't even afford this. But some of them, they chip in a little bit, and that little bit still helps out.
Yep. Thank you, Danny.
I call for the question.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Charlie. Any opposed, say nay. You can chat in if you can't get off mic or something. All right, hearing
There
none,
was a
motion
dog, there was a
passes.
dog bark said nay.
Barking. What district?
All right, moving on to the next one. Partner of the Year Award. CACD will include Conservation District Partner recognition at the annual meeting. This is from Boulder County Conservation District, and it is an action item.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second Charlie.
All right, Charlie, thank you. It is now open for discussion.
This is Gary Thrice. Since I've been doing the awards meetings for a number of years now, I don't have our discussion on modifying this from having a one partner of the year was to have a means of recognizing district partners for as many districts as we can get to recognize their partners and have a celebration of those partners at our annual meeting. Without plaques to every one of them, but not to limit to one person or one organization during the year. So
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Scott, I have a question. This is Bobby.
Yep.
I question if this should be changed from an action item to a policy amendment.
It probably should. Yes, I would say so. Anybody disagree with that or want to comment on that?
It should be policy.
Okay. Thank you, George. All right.
And let me look real quick how the other awards are
Okay, thank you, Brett.
listed in the policy book, if you guys think that makes sense.
Yeah, this is Danny. This wasn't, was rewritten to not be an award, but a recognition during the awards banquet or however we decided to do it, is that we didn't feel like that we needed to have the actual award, but just recognition of the partners that the district felt was deserving.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. We'll let Brett take a second.
Well, if you're not going to put it in there, then then my point is moot.
Well, should it be though policy or action item? Policy?
My thinking was if this is something we're going to do every year,
Right, it should be policy.
right? And there is a section in the policy book that talks about Conservationist of the Year, Earth Team Award. So I think
Okay.
it would fit nicely in that section.
So that section reads C, Conservationist of the Year Award, support recognition of the outstanding conservation of the year with these categories, farmer, rancher, small acreage, less than 100 acres, and forestry mining, period. District supervisors are eligible for this award. Only rancher and farmer of the year will be recognized in the National Stock Show, amended policy 2019. So you could just do a sub point D and drop this in underneath that if you wanted.
Okay. Do we need to state that now, or will that just be there?
Well, if it was written as an action item, they wouldn't have had to put where they want it in the policy book. So we may just make a notation that it should go in. Education, public outreach, small acreage, and urban interface. Roman numeral 1. No, excuse me. Roman numeral 4, D.
Okay.
If you wanted to
that
annotate that.
at the
I think
end
that
of
needs to be in the-
it.
I don't
Okay,
think that
yep.
needs to be in the actual policy statement. That would just be background
Oh,
that you would
you just-
put in the
Okay, we'll make noted.
Great.
Maybe Mary could change, where it says submitted as, approved as, change that action item to policy amendment and put the section there.
Sure,
Would that be okay?
that's fine.
Just put located in,
Roman numeral 4. I think that's an IV.
And that would be, education.
D. Roman numeral 4. Yep, D. Yep. Thank you.
just like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then under the education section.
Thank you.
Scott, will the education committee have to approve this next year? In the committee resource? Where it's going under the education policy?
I think the actions of the General Assembly trump the resource committee, I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
Wouldn't you guys say? I don't think that's a subject to further review if everybody votes on it tonight.
No, that's fine. I just knew we had already done our education report, so I didn't know.
Yep. Okay. All right. Any other further discussion? All right. Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Any opposed, say nay. You can chat in if you need, just to remind everybody, or *6 if you're on the phone. All right, hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. On to the next one.
And these are the resolutions that were defeated by the resource committees.
Oh, that's fine. We don't need to even go
Don't
through
need to
them.
look at those?
There, that's fine.
And that is all.
All right, let me go back to anything else. All right, well. I just want to say thank you. That was actually awesome. We're ahead of schedule by 30 minutes. I just want to say thank you to all the districts. This is my last year of being the president of CACD. It's been a wonderful 4 years representing all the conservation districts throughout the state and getting to know you guys more and more. I'm not leaving CACD. I'm still going to be representing the Colorado River watershed. But I am going to be stepping down as the president. So I just wanted to say a special thanks to our partners, Cindy Lair, Clint Evans, Les, the commissioner, Kate Greenberg, and to the staff of CSCB. You guys have been incredible to work with over the years. And then my backbone, she's on screen right now, is Bobby. She just went off screen, but I truly thank her for everything. She's the backbone of this organization. She keeps her ear to the ground. There's so many meetings these days and so many different topics that me and her talk about daily, weekly. There's not a time that goes by that she's not there. So I truly thank Bobby for everything. And then I also want to thank all the board members, past and the ones that have had to leave us this year. We lost Nancy, and also I'm drawing a blank on his name. What's that?
Joe Pope.
Joe Pope. Yeah, who I never really got to shake his hand because of the whole COVID thing, but one day I'd like to sit down and meet that guy. And hopefully moving forward, things will get better. We can all get back in the rooms and be safe and have these meetings one-on-one and have the conversations that I know we all are missing to have these days. So I just truly want to say thank you to everybody out there, and I appreciate it. I see Bobby, do you need to touch on anything?
I just wanted to make sure to invite everybody to tomorrow night. We will have our awards ceremony, unfortunately virtually, but it will begin at 6 p.m. and it will be the same link that you've been using all week that you used tonight. You're welcome to share that with anyone you want. And if you know that you have an award recipient and you have not already shared that, make sure that you do that as well. Reach out to me if you need any help with that, and I'll be happy to help, and look forward to tomorrow. And thank you to all of our partners, Clint, Randy, Cindy, Les, the entire staff of CSCB, everything that Gary does for NACD, and Rachel, NACD. Special shout out to Noah on all the technical stuff, and Nikki on all the technical stuff. I'm actually learning a little bit. So just thank you all. You all work really hard with us, so we appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys. See you tomorrow night, maybe.
Thank you.